Torah portion of this week is called Kedoshim, to be holy. So there is actually a command from God upon the nation of Israel to be a holy nation. But what does it mean to be holy? If you ask most people, tell me what the mitzvot, the commandments of the Torah are, and they would tell you it's a lot of do's and a lot of don'ts. The Torah actually prescribes for us how we should get dressed, how we should dress. It tells us who we can have relationships with, who we can have friendships with. It tells us what we're allowed to eat and what we're not allowed to eat, what we're supposed to look at, what we're not supposed to look at. And between the 613 do's and don'ts, is there something else that can be done to become a more perfect and more refined individual? And the answer is yes, in God's request of Kedoshim, to be holy. You see, while it is a mitzvah not to speak ill about someone, while it's God's will that we should always have love in our heart for the most part and not hatred, being holy is something completely different. Because while you may spend your entire life eating only kosher foods and never eating something that's not kosher, thereby adhering to the mitzvah of kashrut, of kosher, you could still be eating like a glutton. You could still be eating like an animal. You could still be eating in a way where you're ravenously trying to consume that steak. You're eating more than you should. You're eating because you have this inner desire and not simply because it's providing sustenance and nourishment. So God tells you, Kedoshim, just because you're eating kosher, which is great, and it's an amazing accomplishment that you spend your life adhering to the laws of kashrut, but I want more from you. I want you to eat like a mensch. I want someone, when somebody looks at you while you're eating, say, wow, that's a refined individual eating. He brings the food to his mouth and is not his mouth to the food. And this is true in all areas. While we could spend our entire life never sharing a bad word about someone, but in the meantime, we could be speaking really like a burr. Not nice words may come out of our mouth. We may speak in a way that's certainly beneath us. And while it may not be a sin, we would not be adhering to God's wish and command to be Kedoshim, to be holy. You see, Hasidim would always say, what you're not allowed to do according to the Torah, you certainly shouldn't do. And what you're supposed to do and have to do, that of course you should be doing. But what about the stuff that you're allowed to do? Even that, one should be cautious about, because you don't necessarily need to engage. When people look at their mentors, when people say, wow, that's an individual I certainly would like to mimic, you usually see a quality about them, not because the person never stole in their life or because they never hit anyone in their life. They're usually wanting to copy someone and be like someone who has risen to a stature by going above and beyond, by behaving like a real human being that reflects God's image. You see, the word Adam, human, is made up of two words, or can be two words. Adama le'elyon, and from the word Adama. Our whole lives, we have an opportunity to take this human being that we are and be either like Adama, like the earth, where our whole direction of life is beneath us. Or we could be Adama le'elyon, a reflection of what's above us. And our whole life, we try to rise beyond our human capacity for animalistic behavior and become someone who is kadosh, someone is holy. So this week, focus on, maybe if language is your issue, on not saying anything that's vulgar or negative. Or maybe if food is your vice, start maybe a little bit of the French diet. You eat smaller meals, eat a little slower, enjoy the food, recognize that food is meant for nourishment, not just to fill your gut. Maybe if you walk around unbecoming, get dressed a little bit more prestigious and a little bit nicer, become kadosh, become a little holier in your lives. Don't only focus on the do's and the don'ts. Rise to become a more refined individual. Great Shabbos.